Hello, retreat leaders, and thank you for joining me on our scouting video. In this video, I'm going to be going over some of the venues that we have identified and have run retreats in, and the reasons why we chose them, and also how we found them. So this venue, a couple of the venues are not available that I can't find. So this venue, for example, I can't find anymore. But, you know, a lot of the venues that, you know, for example, this venue is available. So I'll be going over as best as I can all of our past retreats that are still available on the internet to view, because some of the places have changed ownerships and things like that have happened over the years. So, okay, so I wanted to start with this property here. So in no particular order, I'm just starting with this property here. This is a property that we found in Austria. So we actually did a lot of research on the Alps, and then we decided out of the Alps to choose this town. That was a little bit random. It just had a lot of history in the town, a lot of interesting history, a little bit unusual history. And so I thought, you know, they all at this stage looked the same before we had attended. So then what we did is we actually flew there, stayed in the town, stayed in the hotel, and decided, yes, this is definitely the one for us, and this is going to be, you know, the retreat that we build here. Now, during the actual process of identifying this venue, we were looking for some photos, which it was actually this photo initially that drew our attention, and we thought, oh, okay, maybe there is a space to do yoga there. But there were some other photos which Hotel Miramonte does not actually display here, but I have over here saved from our past engagements with them. So we realized that they had this yoga pavilion, which was largely unused. So it was, you know, I mean, they're just so busy, this hotel, especially these days. But when we were, you know, running our retreat with them, they were still extremely busy. But it seems, as I've gone back and looked at them, that they've gotten a lot busier and a lot more popular. So this has actually been phased out, this in their program so much. They don't use it that much anymore. It was a little bit of way. We did have to go for a short walk to get to the pavilion from the hotel. But we also, you know, used this as well, which was fantastic because we were taking up so many rooms. You know, there were times that we could move all of these back and just do yoga there. So that was glorious. Another reason why we chose it is because the imagery itself, which we've discussed before, the imagery itself is actually so stunning, you know, that it's not difficult to convince someone, you know, to want to visit a place like this. It is a very unique, pristine environments, and there was so many, let's say, invigorating experiences to do between climbing and hiking the mountains and bike riding, and this was one of the most beautiful places that we actually ever went to, this area here. So that basically, the hotel was able to offer us, you know, as a hotel, the best bed to bath ratio that you could ask for, which was obviously 1-to-1 or 1-to-2. And they also have stunning scenery. It is in itself a gorgeous hotel, very unique. And it had the yoga pavilion. So, you know, these were really key for us. Now the trick was to arrive there and see if we could build out an itinerary that would be easy, relatively inexpensive, considering we are in an expensive location, And also something that was not going to be too hard for people to get to once they arrive in the country. So, one thing that really cancels out a lot of our retreat locations is the distance at which you need to travel after your major flight. So for example, then, some people might be coming 4 hours, some people could be coming 26 hours, and then arriving there, and then how difficult is it? Sometimes it can take a day or more to just travel, a very short space within a country. So thankfully for us, Salzburg is an international airport, and there was a direct train line to this place. Now, Austria is a unique country in that you can get pretty much through this extremely difficult terrain, all the Alps, very quickly. So, that's why it's an expensive place. You can reach, there's infrastructure deep into the most beautiful places, and you pay for that, right? So in terms of finding the venue, this is what we found. This is what we were looking for, and that became a glorious venue for us. So the next venue that we found on booking.com was actually this one here. This was the Greek Islands retreat. So I actually come from this island, and because I came from this island, it was a place that is very familiar to me. So, this was, I think, our third international retreat. And I said to Amelia, we always go to Kalymnos. Wouldn't it be so great for us to spend a summer living in Kalymnos and hosting retreats? So we had this great idea. We launched it, and that then became probably our favorite retreat, and it is the most profitable retreat of all time. So basically, the reason why it was the most profitable is because on my island, I knew a lot of locals. So that allowed me in this specific location to arrange deals that are definitely not, it's quite difficult to achieve this level of local status in other places. For example, in Egypt, while we did get good rates, because Egypt in itself is a cheap place, we didn't have, things were different, culturally different, business was different. There was less influence over subcontractors and whatnot if anything was going to go wrong. So whereas in Greece, we had our finger on the pulse to really extreme levels. We had really knew what was going on all around us, ahead of us. We had just a fantastic, let's say, synthesis with this place. So we were able to offer more. The way that showed up is that a negotiation with the hotel owner in person actually reduced our total cost by, like, I think 3,000 euros for the fixed pricing, which was accommodation. And that was just a monumental saving. On top of that, we were able to offer, because it was a longer time, because we ran this as the longest retreat, which was a 10-day, initially it was a 10-night retreat. It might have even been 11 or 12 days, the first version. And that was, nearly 2 weeks in one place that we're very intimately involved with. We were able to offer so many things, so many activities, and very diverse range of activities, and all for cheap rates, because we were speaking directly with the subcontractors, as opposed to, let's say, for example, we arrived in Gilis in Indonesia, and we had to use one office for one of our retreats to do, a handful of activities for us. And that ended up being expensive until we actually broke down, got into negotiating with each subcontractor individually. And that is where we did save a lot of money. So that's sort of what happened from the get-go with this venue. So that was allowed us to provide a lot. Now, in terms of identifying the venue, we actually chose our favorite area where we think we would love our family and friends to come and stay and visit. And we said, if we were going to invite people, this is where we would tell them to go. So we looked along this shoreline and we found that this was probably the most suitable venue. The reason why, so let's find out why. So the view was stunning. Okay, so again, the place itself draws our clients. So our clients look at this and they think, wow, I would love to be there. So there wasn't much difficulty. There's less resistance in the sales process. So that's why we thought this is a very important aspect of running retreats, is that reducing friction in the sales process by identifying the right venue and allowing their photography to portray, joined with our itinerary photography to portray the place in such a wow factor kind of way that you just really want to go. You got to really draw that emotional side that you want to go. So clean, tidy, spacious enough, pool on the beach. Then we saw this. Now, immediately for us, for Amelia and I, we're thinking, what's going on over here? That looks very spacious. All of this, we may be able to strike a deal with the venue and say, hey guys, can you let us run yoga classes here? We'll just move all of this out of the way, one yoga class. Your guests can join. So, we have this kind of arrangement. Your guests are welcome to join, and we will be running this yoga yoga down here. Okay, so let's have a look. If we get a closer look at the place, now it's all food. The food was, of course, amazing. Let me just head back down. All right, then we saw this. Now, we did think, wow. Okay, so wow, in this, when you have a venue like this, the guests are going to be able to entertain themselves without going anywhere. That is very, very valuable information, because it means that the pressure is off you. Okay, because when you're hosting a retreat and you've got 23 people at this retreat, you've got the itinerary, you've run the itinerary, but in between the itinerary, where you've left breathing room for everyone to to reset themselves, refresh themselves, you're going to have any 20% could be of the whole entire retreat asking you questions within any 1 or 2 hour period that you have off. So you are in this off time trying to prepare for the next event that you've planned for the itinerary, and you're going to have a lot of people interested in asking you things, getting some extra time with you, talking to you about the philosophies and teachings that you have been incorporating in your retreat. They become keenly interested when they get a moment for you, but you generally do need that time to be planning or preparing for the next event that's coming up in the itinerary. So when you have a venue like this, okay, it allows you to host large numbers of people because everyone's here together on the same retreat. There are already going to be a handful of people, perhaps half a dozen, up on this deck having their own drinks. So your guests will gather in a place like this. They also have the opportunity to gather in a place like this at a different time of the day. Okay, this is a nighttime shot, but obviously this is a fantastic place to be during the day. So what that means is it takes the load off of you. It gives you time to plan and prepare for the next event. Obviously, wow factor was a big thing about this, isn't it? So, you're looking at this venue and you're just saying, oh my God, it's absolutely stunning, isn't it? Okay, so big important factor. Negotiated rates with the venue, up front, in person, and negotiated a few things like where we would do yoga, whether or not their guests could join. We got a few benefits and bonuses, like all of our guests' laundry would be done for them. They were including breakfast for us every day, which was a really big breakfast. They were even extending breakfast because we wanted our guests to eat after their yoga classes. So, we had them prepare specific things for us at the end of their shift with the other hotel guests. So all these types of things were negotiated. Everything, all the negotiation was great. This is a family-owned venue. So we were, again, I believe I've spoken about this in a previous video, but the best type of venue to deal with is a family-owned hotel, if you're in the hotel sector. So if we're looking at the hotel sector, the best kind of hotel owner is a family-run hotel for us. They're the ones that work the best. When you have chains, they're not particularly interested. They do look more at, you might pitch them an offer for a retreat, and they might pitch you an offer back to come and work for them for a reduced salary. So, you don't really want to be dealing with those kind of people. You want a family-owned hotel. That's the best kind of owner for the hotel space for us. So that's how we found and essentially settled on this as a venue. So here is another venue that we settled on. This is our first international retreat venue. We did love this. It was just so yogic in every sense of the word, and we really loved delivering this to our clients who we had served for a few years already in the hinterlands, which was actually in another venue that is no longer on, that I'll talk about later. And this is, let's find out why we chose this. Okay, so firstly, extremely high rating. Look at that, 9.8 for a couples, right? That's the kind of stuff that we want to see. We want to see a very high rating to begin with before we start going deeper. But of course, the ability to facilitate yoga. So that was critical for us. So we started here looking through these photos, and our interest was piqued, and we thought, well, they offer yoga classes in-house. They have 2 yoga shalas, a small one and a large one, which means that, we could possibly be hosting our own classes in between whatever their own roster was, which sounded great. And the rooms were fine. So, they are quite nice, particularly, for Bali. I mean, Indonesia, the design is gorgeous, quite striking, typical Lombok style. And it was clean, nice, food seemed nice, gorgeous yoga shala. Look at that. So, for example, for us, this kind of, even before we had run any retreats with this venue with Michael, we needed photography that would sell our retreat, right? So this kind of stuff is photography that can sell our retreat, because obviously there are other people who have hosted classes here before. You can see it is also beachfront. So that was very important for us. We did want our clients, as we already knew, that in between the pieces, the times that we had planned things, we needed them to be able to entertain themselves. So the ability to cross the road, go to the beach, eat something, have fun, go for a shop, go for a stroll, all of that was in walking distance. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Now, this is a little island in Indonesia. I'm not sure if you guys know anything about it. 3 little islands off of this giant island here. And I came here about 15 years ago and fell in love with the place. So I brought Amelia back several years later, and then we started running retreats here because we loved coming here. So basically, this is the main strip of this island. It's all this eastern strip here. It's the protected eastern strip where the beaches are the nicest, because we have this lovely little island here which protects it. I didn't want to be along any of these hotels, and I didn't want to be along any of these hotels, because I knew that if my clients wanted to come, let's say, to shop, okay, to just literally walk along some shops, a little marketplace, and look at some jewelry or some clothing or anything like that. Perhaps there was a turtle sanctuary here. There's a lot of nice little things to do here. So I didn't want them to have to walk for half an hour to get to something like that. And I didn't want them to have to incur the extra expense of getting a horse and carriage, which is the only form of transport, always back and forth. So what we did instead is we decided to stay in the center of it all, which funnily enough used to be the end of it all. Now it's the center, so that they could actually enjoy everything the island has to offer. And then I would plan their horse and cart trips to the Sunset Beach and, to some other special activities that I had organized and planned for them here, which we had previously identified, which is, we'll actually just go to this venue. Which was these photos. As you may have seen, that is the beachfront photo. But I actually wanted to show you, one moment. Not sure where they were on actually. Never mind, they're on the other computer. All right, so back to that. Where were we? Sorry about that. So we chose this location of the island so that for ease, for convenience, and so that we could our students could entertain themselves. We also identified that there was these 2 yoga chalets. So we arrived. We didn't stay. Oh yeah, we did stay actually. So we arrived and we stayed in the venue, and we got to meet the owners, who were wonderful and very accommodating. And we set up an arrangement where we would book. Let's say we actually booked. I believe we booked 9 rooms. That's how many rooms they have. We booked 9 rooms, and on our first retreat, we ended up filling 8. So we pre-negotiated with them that if we did not sell some of the rooms, we would let them know by a specific date. That was 2 to 4 weeks before the date of the retreat. And then he would then put them back up on booking.com. So that was a really great arrangement that we had with the venue, wherein, because this doesn't happen with every venue, you have to discuss this. Some venues will not give you this kind of flexibility. This venue did give us the flexibility wherein we could let them know even 2 weeks before the venue, before the retreat, if we didn't fill, he would be fine. That would just reduce that from the bill. We would only pay for what we used. So that was a great arrangement for us for our for this particular international retreat. And so we established a working relationship with this company and these guys, and we ran many retreats here, and it was just an absolute fantastic retreat. In these days, we were charging nowhere near enough for what we were offering. So this was a really super, super cheap. We could have made a lot more money running these retreats, but we had them fully sold out. We were finding our feet out there in the world, international retreating, and we were having the best time ever. And we basically lived on this island for several years in a row because it was so wonderful. So moving on to the next venue that we found. So this venue, I'm just trying to remember now how I found this venue. Actually, didn't find this. I actually heard about this place when I was traveling here, and I never got to make it to this place. And then I was traveling on the island. I'll show you. And I made it to this beach here, which is the main area. And this amazing venue is actually hosted all the way over here. So this is called the Tri-Bay, and it's over there, right? And it is a completely remote section of the island. There are no roads going there. You have to arrive by boat. So I heard about it and I never made it there. And then Amelia and I decided to check it out one day. We were absolutely blown away. Okay. Of course, we did do some online research before checking it out in the sense of flying there. We booked a week. We arrived. We tried all of the facilities. We went to everything that was near. So this is only one of 3 beaches. There's another beach on the left, as you can see here, and another beach on the right. And so we stayed for a week, developed our own itinerary based on what we had the most fun doing. And then that is what we built out and sold. So why did we choose this venue? This was a purpose-built venue. It's essentially designed for hosting yoga retreats. And because of that, we thought, well, this would make a super easy option of launching a Thailand retreat, which is much like the Bali one, but we had run the Bali one so many times, we thought we were starting to get a little bit bored of it, and probably we were not getting the same return rates from our clients, let's say, because they had a lot of them had already been. So we decided to look for somewhere new so that we could take them somewhere new. And we found that this place had all the facilities you could imagine and more. They had 4 yoga shalas. We did amazing things at this place: ecstatic dancing. We did bonfires on the beach, boat trips, waterfall hikes, meditation, amazing things on this retreat, because it is purpose built. So it was quite expensive per head, and I think in hindsight we probably could have charged more for this retreat as well. But we had a couple of things that we wanted to do in this year. We had a lot of retreats, and because we really wanted to have full retreats, we just decided to drop the price a little bit, sold them both out, and had a fantastic time. We also had a collaboration set up with some Instagram influencers coming along. So yeah, we already had a couple of extra spots filled. It was too big, to be honest, too big. So if I were to run this retreat again, I would still do a big retreat, because it allowed us to facilitate a really large retreat again here. This was like a 19-person retreat, because they actually have the ability to host perhaps 100 people at their venue. So there were other smaller retreats, going on around us. And then we were just, the bulk of the crowd, let's say. So I would probably do that again, give myself a good 9 months of marketing, and I would like to run another retreat in this place around 25, 30 people. I think that is great. Increase the pricing, give yourself a long time, and just sell it for a long time. This would be a monumental place to run an international retreat again. I think they're actually closed right now because they have these crazy weather events where the water rushes out of the mountain, the monsoon season. So you have to plan your retreat around that. That influenced our dates. So we had to choose dates that was sort of before the rain came, and we were very lucky we actually ran the retreat at the end of the tourist season, which gave us super cheap rates, and just before the rains came, which was beautiful. Everyone got a total tranquil experience because of that shoulder season booking, which is what Amelia has discussed in the past. So yeah, that was the reason why we chose this venue, that venue, and yeah, and that venue. Now, I just want to talk about a few things. I think I've gone over that bed and bath. No, actually, that's it, guys. So thank you very much for joining me this morning. And if you have any questions at all, please let me know. And once you start your research, remember, Thursday nights is when we do our Zoom for you guys. So any questions by Wednesday, send them in. Send me the links that you're looking at. Show me your research. I'll be more than happy to look over all of the venues you're looking at, discuss the best ratios, and looking forward to negotiating a fantastic deal. Thanks, guys. Have a lovely day. Bye.